How to fix a circuit breaker that keeps tripping. The circuit breaker is an important safety mechanism of every home. It is working to keep you and your home safe. So even though it may be annoying when your circuit breaker trips repeatedly, finding a way to fix it is necessary. Here is what you can do if your circuit breaker keeps tripping. Like and share, subscribe to my STH Technical channel and click the bell icon for new updates. What is a circuit breaker? The electricity in the home is routed through a breaker or service panel, which houses individual circuits. All circuit breakers have an switch to indicate whether a circuit is currently active. Different circuits are required for different regions of the home. If a single breaker was used for all the home's electrical circuits, the breaker would trip continuously. To understand precisely how a circuit breaker works, it is essential to know how electricity works. Voltage, resistance, and current are the three main properties of electricity. The voltage acts as the pressure in moving an electric charge through a conductor, and the rate at which it moves is referred to as the current. Resistance, on the other hand, occurs when a conductor interacts with the electric current. Various conductors provide varying resistance levels. The electrical wiring loop in your home is typically composed of three types of cables: a neutral wire, a hot wire that conducts electricity, and a ground wire. Ordinarily, the neutral and hot wires never touch, and the current flows through a device that applies resistance to it to maintain the voltage at a safe level. Should the neutral and live wires come into contact for any reason, the current does not receive as much resistance, causing the current and voltage levels to rise dangerously, known as a circuit overload, which could cause an electrical fire. When this occurs, the breaker trips, blocking electrical power to the circuit until the problem is resolved. Why do circuit breakers keep tripping? If a circuit breaker keeps tripping, it is usually an indication that something is amiss with the circuit. A short circuit in one of your appliances or somewhere in the wiring. A ground fault, circuit overload, the breaker box is failing. The electrical panel needs replacement, the breaker isn't the right size for the current flowing through it.